Hey guys, what's up? It's Natasha and welcome back to this week's video. I recently bought a few books at a warehouse sale on Fullways that Exclusive Books hosted. Fortunately, it was old stock, but I managed to grab a few very interesting books, so I'm going to pick that up. Before we get started, please remember to like the video, subscribe, comment down below if you were at the Fullways Mall warehouse sale. If you weren't, what were you doing this weekend? Did you see the All Blacks and Springbok game? I don't know. Just comment down below what you did this weekend, and without any further ado, let's just jump right into the video. The following 11 books that I'm going to show you is everything that I got at the warehouse sale, and then there are 4 books that I bought, I think, in the last 2-3 months, because I don't usually buy books in bulk, so I don't usually do hauls, but what can one do? Okay, anyway, so the first book I got was The Appeal by Janice Hallett, or Hallett, almost like Hewlett's. I don't know, I'm assuming. This book basically is like a mixed medium of, they give you descriptions of who the murderer is. I believe it was a young girl who was killed, and you are given the evidence and you are asked to solve the murder. And can you solve the murder? Are you up for the challenge type of things? So this kind of indicates this is your envelope. I think, yeah, in here, if I zoom in, you would see, you know, like the papers and stuff. So it's basically they give you everything, all the evidence. Someone who was convicted is wrongly convicted, and they want you to solve the murder. So one of my friends on Bookstagram as well, she was very excited when she saw I got this. And yeah, that makes me even more excited. I didn't tell her, but I got this as per her recommendation. So then the second book I got was The Wayward Girls by Amanda Mason, and this basically follows 2 sisters, and they are enjoying their life on their farm. I think it's the 1970s. You know, everything is going swell. There's nothing really exciting up until the point that the 2 sisters start hearing knocking inside the walls, and that's when things escalate, and it's just crazy from there. And then a few years later, strangers are asking one of the sisters to come forward and explain the events that happened in the house. I believe this is a very popular book, and if I'm not mistaken, there's a movie. I might be wrong, but when I saw this, I was like, this sounds like a very cool psychological thriller, and I'm very excited to pick it up. The third book is Mallory by Jason Malloman. This is basically 17 years after Bird Box, and the creatures are still there. It's still crazy outside while they are in their confinement. And then I believe Mallory still listens to the radio, and then one day she hears 2 voices of people who she thought were actually dead. Then she's also struggling with the 2 kids. They want to go out and explore the world, and unfortunately she doesn't want them to do that. So it sounds very interesting. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this one. Much to my fiance's horror, I didn't read Bird Box, so I bought the second book, and I'm excited to see how this pans out and see what actually happens. The fourth book I got was Birthday Girl by Melissa de la Cruz. Now, if I can remember correctly from the synopsis, this is just about a woman who's about to turn 50. She's got her life sorted out, you know, she's becoming one of the big names, and she's just enjoying life. And then on the eve of her 50th birthday, she gets a message from someone that says, "Happy birthday, girl, see you tonight." And the blurb says, is it a threat or is it something else? And I'm assuming this is also a thriller horror type of thing. So yeah, I don't know what's happening to me. Usually I liked fantasies, and now I'm just escalating more to creepy kind of stories. The fifth book I got was Black City by Elizabeth Richards. I remember seeing my friend from high school having this on her shelves, and I really wanted to read this book. Plus it's super floppy, guys. It's just, I love it. But I think this is about vampires. Not completely sure. You know why I bought this book? Because of the cover. Never read these books in my life, so I might have to start somewhere. Unfortunately, they didn't have the second book, and I think there's a third book as well, but they only had this one, so oh well. Then the sixth book is a historical fiction, and it's The Socialite. I don't know much about this book. I mainly picked it up for my mom actually because she loves historical fiction. So I was like, because it's a 50 Rand book, oh, why not just buy it? So it just says glamour, treachery, and romance collide when an English socialite throws herself into the dangerous arms of a Nazi-occupied Paris. I don't know. Sounds intriguing. I might also pick it up just for fun. The 7th book is The Record Keeper by Agnes Gamillion. So sorry if I'm butchering it. As far as I know, this is kind of like a dystopian novel, and it's far into the future. After World War III, Earth is in ruins, and the final armies have come to a reluctant truce. Everyone must obey the law in every way or risk shattering the fragile peace and endangering the entire human race. What caught my attention was just the pink. It's so bold, and I like it. And then, of course, it wouldn't be a fantastic, successful book haul if I didn't get Kelly Armstrong's Rituals. My fiance picked it up. I just heard him calling my name. He picked this one up. I'm like, even though I don't own the whole series, this is the 5th book in the series, I was just like, take it. Because it's Kelly Armstrong's books in South Africa is very rare. So if I find it, I buy it. The 9th and 10th book I got was The Scorch Trials and The Kill Order by James Dashner. I do own the whole series except for Fever Code on Kindle, but I've always wanted physical copies of these, so I'm slowly accumulating them. The downside now is I bought this edition, and now I'm going to either have to look for this edition or I'm just going to have to embrace the fact that I'm never going to have the full edition, although I'll have to check with Reader's Warehouse. If you don't know what these books are about, it's basically just the prequel and the sequel to the Maze Runner series, and I'm sure everyone knows what the Maze Runner series is about, but it's also dystopian. Also, after the sun fries everything and people are doing experiments on kids to see if they can sustain, they are basically the new generation who can live under the sun flares that has been cooking everyone else and turning them into sun-fried zombies. I guess that is the perfect way to describe Maze Runner. Anyway, then the 11th book I got was a very interesting book. I bought it because of the cover. This book just basically seems like it teaches you how to deal with grief, but let me read the blurb because the blurb makes everything much easier to explain to you. So, sorrow for that is all she brings us. So basically that's why her father called her Sorrow. That is so weird. But anyway, a people laid low by grief and darkness, a cutthroat race for power and victory, a girl with everything and nothing to lose. By day, Sorrow governs the court of tears, covering for her grief-maddened father, who has turned their once celebrated land into a living monument for the brother who died before she was born. By night, she seeks solace in the arms of the boy she loved since childhood, but one ghost won't stop haunting her, and when enemies old and new close ranks against her, Sorrow must decide how far she's willing to go to win. And I was like, wow, okay, sounds interesting. Sign me up. Okay, so the next 2 books are duologies. I'm kind of a fan of Amanda Hocking, I won't lie. If I see her books, especially when I haven't seen them before or anywhere, I'll buy them. I've only read 2 of her series, basically, and it was the Omte trilogy as well as the one with Wendy, the OG. I've only read those 2, but I want to read the others as well. But I got the duology, Between the Blade and the Heart and From the Earth to the Shadows, and it's basically Valkyrie in training type of stories. And this, I believe this girl is trying to figure out, should she save these people, should she save these people. It's not like a fantasy book, so sounded intriguing, and I love the covers. So obviously I had to buy them. Then my fiance bought me Ready Player 2. This just follows Ready Player 1. I haven't seen the movie, haven't read the book, but I aim to read the book first before delving into the movie. But yeah, this is just basically the sequel to Ready Player 1. The last book I got was The Nemesis. This is the 3rd book in S.J. Kincaid's trilogy, I believe. Oh, this book is also floppy. I love it. But the first one is the Diabolic. So I have the first one and I have the third one. I just need the second one. And, you know, finding these are like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's very weird. But it's also a dystopian novel. It's about an AI trying to learn human emotions, and I think everything just goes south from there. So those are the books that I got. Comment down below if you have read any of these books or you're interested in reading some of these books, and I'll see you guys in a video next week. Bye.